Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. So today what we'll be talking about is how important it is to learn yourself. I had spoken about this video, I believe. I had not spoken about this video. I'm confusing it with another one. But on this video, I think I want to stress the importance of, the benefit of how it was for me to learn myself, whether it will be spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, how important it was to do that. So for those who don't know, my frontal lobe fully developed. So now I'm 25, okay? And something that I've learned in order to better my navigation as an adult now is to actually take those corny tests that nobody wants to take. The love attachment style, the love languages style, the personality test, and all of that stuff. It is imperative, and also it facilitates your way through life when you know yourself on a very deep level. Doing inner retrospects, and that's the same thing. Introspect. Anyway, sorry, y'all know what I'm trying to say. Having a sit down with yourself, journaling a lot, asking yourself very tough questions, going back in time as well. And the going back on time is for really people who went through traumatic things, not to open old wounds up in that sense, but just seeing how you navigated towards those situations. So don't think about the situation, more so the aftermath of how you handled it. And studying how you handle tough situations, studying how you handle bad news, how you come about these things. Reading a lot of books as well has helped me. I'm reading currently Attached for the love language, and I think my next book is 13 Things That Mentally Strong People Don't Do, if I'm not mistaken. And I think I had already started that book, and she had spoken about how she went through like 3 deaths within like a year, which was fucking insane, and how she handled it. And these type of things are what is a better way to say this? When you know yourself, people can't tell you about yourself. There's very little that someone could throw back in my face as a flaw that I didn't already know about myself. So critique becomes less personal. It becomes less like an attack, more like criticism, like constructive criticism. It's more so in a way, and even if that person meant it in a very ill intent, you now know how to differentiate when someone is just attacking you just for the sake of attacking you, and when someone is really telling you that there's a problem in your character, your personality, and you just go about it. So for me, it was learning my attachment style recently. These are like the more recent tests that I've took. So my 16 personality test, I don't have 16 personalities. It's called the 16 personality test. And it kind of tells you on what scale and what type of individual you are. Are you introverted? Are you extroverted? Are you social? Are you empathic? Are you sympathetic? Are you logical thinking? Are you emotional thinking? Things like this. It even tells you as much as the jobs that you would thrive in, whereas the jobs that it wouldn't work. So yes, I did spend money on a full report because I just really wanted to know like how that was. The love attachment, what I ended up doing was on a spiritual level. It's been said in African culture that birthmarks and beauty marks plays a big role, and I do think that a lot of my beauty marks are very like question mark beauty marks, because it's like how are these placements in areas that I hold the most power. I have a beauty mark on my tongue. I have one on my lip. Okay, so I've always been told by multiple people, you speak extremely well. You can carry emotion throughout a room. You are very comfortable speaking to people out loud. You need to do something. I've been told that I could be great at negotiating, that I should do sales. and the list goes on when it comes to like, you know, what I'm good at. In that sense, like what people have told me when it comes to like anything that has to do with my voice. So, and within knowing that, and then I do poetry. So it's like, I started looking up the placements of my birthmarks and then mixing it in with the attachments that I have. For instance, I have this huge birthmark, because beauty marks and birthmarks are two different things. Huge beauty mark on my thigh, and it takes my whole leg actually, and it stops at the navel of my stomach. And so I looked it up and things like that, and it was, I'm not going to get into it because I do feel like it's kind of personal to me, but it tied in perfectly with how I ended up, like how my upbringing kind of shaped me into the woman that I am today. Plus the whole love attachment and the love language thing. And your love attachment is, yes, how you're going to love your partner, but it derives from how your parents treated you as a kid, how they nurtured you, how they were there for you. If, you know, there was something like, how are you facing any abandonment issues? Is there any trust? Is there any, all of this, like, and so I took that chart, I threw it all into ChatGPT, and I told them to give me a full report based on all of these tests that I took to kind of give me a rundown of the type of personality traits. And ironically enough, all of the things that they were naming were things that I was aware of, or things that I had never considered. They were just kind of like quick thoughts in my head that actually play a significant role in building the type of person that I am. These are things that you should try to get to know, because I remember someone had asked me an interesting question, and I thought it was so ironic that I didn't have the answer to it. And the question was, what's your favorite color? And I sat there and I pondered. I was like, what is my favorite color? We are so enveloped in other things that we forget that the main focal point is us. Everything starts with us. I have a video on my channel that is titled "You Are the Control," and we try to control all of these other perspectives, or how people view us, or how we're being perceived, or how people talk about us, or how people talk to us. And really, it just comes from here. It comes from you. You are the remote control for everything. Stop trying to control things that are outside of your, you know, your bubble. You can't control everything. You control very little. So the best thing you can do for yourself is take the little that you can control and master controlling it. Okay? And so you only do that by getting to know yourself. I realized that criticism stopped getting to me, well, a while back, because I was raised in a household full of boys. I'm the only girl. So criticism was something I've always been around. I've always understood that none of my brothers ever criticized me in a sense of trying to one up me, or it's like it's a competition, or da-da-da. It was always genuine criticism, you know? Even if the delivery always kind of sometimes failed and I didn't really like the way they delivered it, it never came from an ill intent perspective. It was always, I want to see you do better, and that's why I'm calling you out on the things that you need to fix. So at that development age, I've always kind of known the things that I needed to work on, the flaws that I had, things that I've always had engraved in me, and things like that. And I knew how to have a counter to these things. One of my flaws is that I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn, okay? That stubbornness is still there. It is not something that I necessarily have. It's not easy for me to get rid of it. But to compensate for the stubbornness is being apologetic. Meaning that if someone was to come with the facts to prove me wrong and tell me, hey, this is not this, da 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 da, and you should have went about it like this, my immediate response is to immediately drop ego and immediately apologize. Oh, okay, that was my fault. And so it compensates for these flaws that you have, because 9 times out of 10, the flaws that you have are things that are going to probably take years for you to dead. They're not things that you just could just, one day get up from and just decide that, oh, I'm not going to be that anymore. Change takes time. And once you understand that, you just have to then include other things that will compensate for the things that you are missing in within your personality. So that was one of the best ways that I could have went about, getting to know some of the flaws that I had. I also had this thing, and this is going to sound crazy to some people, but whether I was dating someone on a long term or I was official with someone, I would always ask for feedback on things that they felt like I should work on or communicate better or do better. And I would try to open this floor of like safety where the person could tell me as much as I could tell them. And say like, listen, this is not gonna work. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. And I could also tell you, hey, I don't like this. I don't like this. The problem is when you become that person that becomes receptive to criticism, you will be met with some people who don't think that they have anything to change. So it will really mess with their heads if they feel like you are criticizing them, but the moment that you ask for that feedback from them, you're okay with receiving what they have to say, but they cannot receive what you're saying. In that moment, it is important to know that it is not about you. It is not about you. They are completely projecting onto you, but it's not about you. Sometimes demons get irritated when you mention their names, so you have to just let the person seep in and let them ease into the fact that you're criticizing them. You don't even have to get defensive. 9 times out of 10, if you speak to somebody, what usually happens is that they get into this mindset of they're receptive. No, they get defensive. And then if you completely dismiss and stop, drop, and roll, they'll go back on that thought process and think about it and go, oh, okay, I could see where she was coming from that, but it can't come from you. It has to come from them. So now we're talking about the element of control, which is you. You need to learn yourself so nobody has to teach you about yourself. And you can also know how to navigate the world in an easier way because you have now figured out that the best thing you can do is know yourself. And when you know yourself, you know where to place yourself and you know where not to place yourself. And that is very important. So that is the video that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And share this video to someone that you feel like should hear it. And if you have to hear it, then send it to you. Please don't be scared to comment about what you think in the comment below. I love hearing what you guys think. And until next time, guys. Bye, my loves.